my guys? Welcome to another show, man. It's NBA Talk with J Money and the Shark, my guy here, my co-host. Make sure you go and follow him on Twitter at Sharks and Sports, man. It's NBA Talk. We here, we talking about all the stuff. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I have a lot to say, but it is what it is. Man. I could just do this shit all day. What's up with you, Shark? What's up, my brother?
Oh, beautiful. Round two, Free Friday, December 3rd, 2021. The shades are on for the intro. They're coming off right now. We're talking NBA basketball. It's going to be a little more of an open flow. We said it last night. We want to bring you guys into the interactions in the second show more. So drop questions if you have anything. It's not so much ask me anything. People do that on the internet. I think it's kind of corny. Definitely not ask me anything, but just hit us up with some legit questions. NBA historical commentaries, games today, sides, whatever you might be thinking. And we are having a couple drinks, so cheers up, fears down, a little white wine here on the rack.
My guy say J Money looks ripped, man. Just chilled out, man. Hey, we living life. It's Friday. You see what I'm saying? I don't gas up anymore, but my one guy said freshly gassed up. Yeah, I forgot to take some questions yesterday's show, my guy. So we're gonna slow it down. I know in the first show you know what I'm saying, it's kind of sped up or whatever, but I got all the time in the world now. It's right before the games, guys. Just have to talk about something. And another person said, you guys know, for the most part here, and that's another thing. I can't just make it seem like everyone's bad. Just a few people, you know what I'm saying, bad people saying, why don't you guys recap yesterday? Why we never do? We could go 5-0 and we still don't pat ourselves on the back. We go 0-3, whatever. It's all about today's. It's all about the present. You see what I'm saying? Yesterday was yesterday, and that's the past. We can't change it now, whether we won or lost. All about today. That's why you guys are here. But real quick, I did want to go back to yesterday here, Shark. Giannis ruled out 10 minutes before the game tip off, not even before the game start time, right before the game start off, bro. That's why I'm doing this late show, bro. Oh boy, the only reason why we knew that Giannis was going to be out, people at the game like, hold on, why we don't see him in this listed as the starters on the jumbotron? That's the only reason why we knew Giannis was out. No info whatsoever. That's absolute highway robbery, Shark. What do you think about that, bro? Sorry for everyone who took the Bucks yesterday. It's tough.
No, I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, I think the first tweets we saw coming out were actually not, I think, reporters. It was just people in the stadium tweeting about it, and then it quickly went viral. Within, media, sports media, and then Twitter and gambling Twitter, et cetera. But, I mean, that's outrageous. It's corrupt. And, people always say the players don't really care about sports betting and spreads and whatnot. But you know what's the biggest hypocrisy? The league is in bed with DraftKings and FanDuel for billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So if the league's going to be sitting here taking a cut off the losses of the public on betting, because the public does lose in betting, there would be no sports books in America if books took losses. The public loses. And I don't mean the public Joes. I mean the public factions of bettors lose to books, unfortunately. Of course, we try to win for the people. But if the NBA wasn't taking a cut off this behind the closed doors, I'd be like, all right, whatever. But, I mean, that's a double down on the corruption effect of it. It's absolutely outrageous. It has to be fixed. And, unfortunately, maybe it won't be fixed unless people like us speak out a little more loudly about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And Shark, you made a damn good point, bro. It's like if they're in bed with the books and they're getting some money off the loss or whatever, what have you, because you see the Raptors still win that game yesterday. Don't get it twisted. The Bucks still could have got it done, but all the money came in mostly on the Bucks there. So like they cleaned up on that game, and it's tough the way that it transpired. It almost makes you not want to. You can't really trust things as much. I'll be honest with you. I've scaled back, but you know what I'm saying. It just is what it is. We're still trying to win regardless, but it's tough, man. It was only 5 games yesterday, anyways. You know what I'm saying? The Spurs, cash. I got to talk about the Grizzlies, right? They just set a record yesterday, so it's. I won't necessarily recap every single day, but that is something, a pillar in the NBA. We just had the biggest margin of victory ever in the NBA, and I want to talk about the Giannis as well. So I just feel like that was big. Shark. The Memphis Grizzlies won 152-79. Such a bad brand of basketball by the Thunder. They got to take their ass back to Seattle after that, bro. I mean, and we talk about passion, bro. Let me go out there and play or something. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, you remember last year they got hammered by the Warriors at home by about 50 mid-season. So this team is just capable of laying the ultimate egg. I mean, it was the biggest deficit in the history of the league, which is incredible. And, of course, we capped that correctly. I mean, I thought, I made the comment sort of joking they might come back late. You had said maybe they'll come back, whatever. Obviously, it was honed in on the first quarter, first half. But, I mean, God, it takes a very unique environment for that blowout to happen. It has to be a total bottom feeder team, which doesn't always exist in the NBA historically. So there has to be one team that's an absolute bottom feeder. And then you have to have another team that's particularly inspired to continue to bring that energy for 4 quarters. Because again, if this was the Warriors, they would have blown them out by 45. I don't mean last year, obviously, but just historically, Warriors, Cavs, 90s Bulls, they pull the starters in the fourth and they coast. The Grizzlies turned up for 4 hard quarters. And one of the most funny things that I saw is the Grizzlies fans were on a really intense defense chant, up like 75 points in the fourth quarter.
Hey, they serious about that. They said, no, everybody said that we finna go on a lose streak without Ja Morant. Now we 3-0, smacking motherfuckers up, making history, all this, man. So they was ready for that, man. But you know what? I got to go back and look at this. This is Monday, going a little bit further, but just as basketball note, you want to back teams when they're coming off a loss like that. I don't know for a fact that I'll do it with the Thunder. Have to see if they get SGA back, but they already looked into it. They faced the Pistons on Monday. They come back to the house. Oh, it's a terrible spot for the Pistons. Just know that. Just going a little early. If everybody in there for the Thunder, that's a gut check or the balls check type of game. You just got history made against your ass. So just a little looking ahead. If everybody's in there, I may be riding Thunder there. But let's get to today, man. We got plenty to talk about. You dig what I'm saying? Plenty to talk about. And just real quick, the guy saying you guys were terrible yesterday. Terrible picks. Shark went 2-1. I went 2-0. What are we doing here? My guy cashed the first half with the Grizzlies. He lost on Knicks first quarter. I rode with him on that personal loss that one. But we had the Spurs +5 official. We had the Pistons +12 official, my guy. So I don't know what the hell he was talking about. A couple guys trolling chat, but it happened, Shark. I don't even want to give them no negativity. I'm just saying because there's not the first time people said, why don't you guys recap yesterday or you guys lost yesterday? What?
Let me just make a small comment on that. You guys in the chat, we don't talk to you guys directly a whole lot, but just a direct point. Jay and I off the record discussed the way we want to distribute content to you guys, and of course, people that don't know about this, they're going to come and see this, and we want to bring you a direct product. We don't want to make it like Sports Center for the first 5 minutes of the show. In our opinion, that's boring, it's regurgitated, and it's really just lackluster content. So we don't recap, not because we're not trying to, bloat our wins or avoid losses. It's just not what we want to make a component of the show. And that's all it is. We're not being avoidant and we're not being overly celebratory. So it's very simple, really.
And I always say, even if we lost, we still come back with straight to business. That's what you guys are here for. Let's go to the streets of Washington here first, my guys. We got the Wizards here. Line opened up at 4. It's down to 3 here. We got the Cavs who've been playing absolute phenomenal basketball. I'm looking at this Wizards team, Shark. They don't have a ton of size out there. They don't. You're going to have to shoot the ball really well. So I'll tell you this, guys. This is the Cavs, and this is just figuring teams out. How you beat the Cavs is hitting threes, right? Now, don't get it twisted, right? The Wizards have some guys that can hit some threes. Beal, Dinwiddie, they even have Bertans coming off the bench. So there's possible that they can get it done, but they don't have a ton of size out here. Kuzma, I'm not a huge fan of Kuzma out here. Shark, Shark, what you like, my guy here? You think they got Gafford and Harrell. They would have to go beast tonight. And Dinwiddie, Beal, Caldwell Pope, they would have to be getting hot for 3. Other than that, it's Cavs or nothing here, Shark. I know you like the Cavs, so break them down. What you like?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to give a cheers to anybody who's hanging out. Friday, 6:10 p.m. Glass of white wine, some beers, we're going out to dinner. There's a lot of lifestyle behind this. And, of course, we do center on lifestyle behind most things because without life, there's no channel, there's no chat, there's no abundance in this life. So we appreciate the hell out of you guys. We hope you're having an amazing, amazing evening. And if anything's ever wrong, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I love to talk about life way outside of basketball. And continuing on that point, life within basketball is pretty damn good for the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 21-22 campaign here. This team is just well constructed. And I didn't think I was going to be saying that because I thought they were kind of haphazard with some of these draft picks. Obviously, Colin Sexton, Garland coming out at Vanderbilt, maybe an overreach, maybe a merge in terms of the personnel, a couple guards, clash of personalities as well, I thought. I thought you had a cerebral Garland and maybe a little flashy Sexton. Not knowing a ton about the guy off the court, but just, SEC Vanderbilt, very cerebral school down there. In the SEC and, of course, Alabama basketball. It's not Nick Saban, but it is what it is. But, I mean, they've drafted incredibly well. Jared Allen was a great trade piece. Evan Mobley looking amazing out of USC. And, of course, Kevin Love having a renaissance resurgence point here coming off the bench, I believe 12 to 23 or 4 minutes per night. But point being, It's a great take here for Cleveland tonight. It's a revenge game. The line is holding super short for Washington. Cleveland probably should have beat them in Cleveland. They got backdoored 29-20 in the fourth quarter. Kyle Kuzma hit a 3-ball, I believe, with about 10 seconds to go in that game to get over the hump, and then at some free throws to push. But even with the 29-20 fourth quarter, the Cavs were still up in that game with 30 seconds to go. And the Cavs have been traveling well all year. They're just a juggernaut, and I don't think that they're a juggernaut just because they're getting advantageous line.
I know what my guy's saying. The Cavs been balling, guys. The Cavs have been balling, and they should continue to do so here, Shark. You back with us? You can continue real quick. Guys, real quick, look for the three-point props for me. I'll let you know how I'm looking at these games. Pull up some of those three-point props for me in the chat. Let me know what they're looking like here in this Wizards versus Cavs game. Shark, you want to finish them out?
Yeah, no, not a whole lot more than that. Just really, I'm just intrigued by this roster because I really am just impressed with the construction of it and the way this group has flowed under JD Bickerstaff, who, again, I didn't really know if he was the quality guy that he's proving to be.
Yeah, I love what the Cavs are doing. They will be. I mean, they're looking like they want to make the playoffs this year. We can't forget, Cavs still missing two players too. They're not even full go right now. I mean, Sexton went down. We thought they may go on a slide. They're playing together. They play on a string on the defense. They're still missing Sadie Osman and Dean Wade. These guys have still been balling. Obviously, they caught the Heat at the right time. They were down because they lost Adebayo. I'm watching all the interviews and stuff, and obviously the Heat saying it's going to take the time. We're going to talk about that game next. Spoelstra says it's going to take time for them to figure out things offensively, especially these two games without Butler, and especially long term without Adebayo. So I'll tell you this though: 3-point props here. Kuzma went 6 for 9 from 3 last game in this matchup, and when you really think about it, I like Kuzma's 3-point props again tonight. If you guys in the chat can give me the number, because if you think about it, Mobley's an inside defender. Kuzma's going to be howling around the perimeter. Kuzma should probably get some threes tonight, guys. It should be around at least 2.5. My guy DeB says he like Garland over 2.5 threes plus 130. I'd be looking at some, because this is what the Wizards going to have to do tonight. They're going to have to fire threes. You won't be getting points in the paint versus the Cavs, guys. And this is just me starting to venture towards looking at some other things in basketball games that make sense. Obviously, like I say, with the Cavs, they got 3 guys down there marking him, Mobley and Allen. It's tough to get passes, get baskets inside. That's what the Wizards like to do. That's also why it's a bad matchup for them. But I'd be looking at 3-pointers for the Wizards here, guys. It makes sense. And like I say, Kuzma 6 for 9, even in Cleveland. Now he's in his home gym. He'll likely go for another 4 threes tonight, man. So lean Cavs here for me. Nothing official, my guy, but I definitely may ride my guy Shark. I feel like it's the right side. Let's go to the streets of Indiana, Shark. The Pacers laying 5.5 at the house versus the Heat. Heat are struggling right now without Jimmy and Bam. What you think on this one?
As we said before, this is just a tough spot to cap. The first point that makes it super difficult, the fact that both teams are on losing streaks. So Miami comes in here L2, really a couple of useless efforts. That effort against Cleveland at home, not coincidentally, was absolutely pathetic. I believe 111-89 or something like that. And they come in here in a revenge game. Indiana did beat them in the third game of the season in overtime. At that point in the calendar, Miami was on I believe, a 3rd and 4 back-to-back home road. And they came out flat. They made a big push in the third quarter. And then they kind of gave it back late, went to overtime and lost by 11 points. So you get a revenge game, but you get a line scaling towards Indy, obviously indicative of the roster problems for Miami right now. Of course, as you said, Bam Adebayo out of the lineup and Jimmy Butler as well. But, again, it's just a tough spot because we talk about this all the time. Teams like Indiana, and not just Indiana, pretty much the entire league, when they come into the stadium and they see 2 of the top players out of the lineup, the motivation is scattered at best. So even though the line's showing strength, again, you always deal with that environment where they might just not show up here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. This is how I'm looking at this game, right? Spoelstra said, I'd like to take the Heat here. It's Heat or nothing for me here. I must say, yeah, Beal threes and Kuzma. I like it. My guy says Kuzma 3+ threes is at plus 160. I think they'll hit. Beal being at 1.5, that's disrespectful in this game. These guys will be chunking up nothing but threes, and they will live or die by the 3 tonight. But this Heat versus Pacers game, like I say, man, I don't know about this Pacers laying 5.5. Obviously, they lost their backup point guard right now, and TJ McConnell. So, but I'm looking looking at Spoelstra, he's saying it's going to take some time for them to figure out, especially as far as rebounding wise. Dedmon isn't the scorer or the rebounder that Bam Adebayo is, and they're missing some scoring right now without Jimmy Butler. So Duncan Robinson, you can't go for 0 for 6 for 3 in this game if these guys want to be competitive. Guys like Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry will have to be more assertive on the offensive end as well. So I'll lean Heat here, but with Spoelstra not even trusting his own team right now, he says it's going to take a little bit of time. I won't be betting on the Heat today, even though I do lean their way, my guys. Like I say, even if we don't have official play on the game, we're just trying to let you know how we're looking at the games. Let's go to the streets of Atlanta here. I see some birds flying outside right there on the window right there. I think it's a hawk or something. But the Hawks here, man. Cam Reddish did get ruled out, but so did Tobias Harris here, Shark. Don't you drink too many of them glasses over there, Shark. What we doing with this Hawks versus 76ers spot?
Well, official play, we've been wearing the hat all day. And I originally bought this shirt about 20 years ago, and it seems to fit perfectly well with the color scheme. And again, looking at what we've been talking about here for now almost 9 months, is the Atlanta Hawks at home are, I believe, the best ATS home team in the sport. And that is something where I always look for points to regress, where somebody's too hot and they should go to a different average. Atlanta has reset the average. And now it is actually an outlier if they don't cover. Mm-hmm. And when you look what's going on here, they didn't cover their last home game against the Knicks. 99-90 loss. The Knicks doing what they always do, basically the opposite of what conventional wisdom would suggest. But Atlanta was on a 3rd and 4 there, back-to-back, which has been absolutely their death zone. They just don't have the legs, the energy, whatever it may be. They do not play well in that environment. This is not that at all. This is a fresh one-off revenge game after getting just obliterated in Philly 2 weeks ago or 1 week or whatever it was. And the line's connecting with it. We always talk about this. It should be 3 coming road to home. It's 5, and that is noteworthy in professional basketball. Lines in professional sports, particularly NFL and NBA, are sharper than most. So even a half point of transparent movement, again, within the odds makers' averages, not the market betting. We go to the opening line of the odds. I want the odds makers' numbers, not the idiots placing bets across this country. We don't react to that. We react to the sharpest possible guys, which are the odds makers. And when they move it even a half point over 3, it is noteworthy. And this is 5. It's a great spot. It's a revenge game. It's a Friday night in Atlanta. I think they're going to be ready to go. I think they're going to potentially do what they did to the Milwaukee Bucks going back 2 weeks ago on Sunday. That was 120-100. It was a revenge spot, and it was an East contender. And one final point, Philly, a good corollary point, a revenge game for the Knicks against Philly in Madison Square Garden, which we had correctly, 112-99 Knicks. So we're riding Atlanta, boxes checked across the board.
My guy, Dedrick Green, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you. Hey, hit them boys up one time, man. Tell my guy E I said what's up. Now, Tobias Harris is out here, and I know I said earlier that I'm waiting on Cam Reddish, but Cam Reddish is out. He won't be playing for this game, and it's tough. And it's not even the wrist injury. He does have an illness, so it's a lot of guys getting illness right now. Obviously, it's winter time, but I like the Hawks here. They're 8-2 straight up at the house. They're coming off a loss as well. This is a Friday night game at the house. I know the club over there, Atlanta, is going to be rocking over there. So it's Hawks or nothing for me here. I couldn't talk you off the Hawks, my guys.
One further point. And, we're having a deeper conversation here so we can give you a little bit of a deeper analysis. We have nothing against the 76ers, trust me. I said on record going back 2 nights, I thought they would cover at Boston. When they got blown out at the Dubs, we said they'd get blown out by the Dubs. We have bought them. We know they're good first quarter at home historically. I've personally made a lot of money betting the 76ers with Joel Embiid and crew. So there's no bias ever. We are not shading them whatsoever. We will buy them when we think it's correct, and we will fade them when we think it's correct. So just a point.
Hey, Spanky says Shark and Jay need to get on FSN1, a gambling show, man. Good God. What say?
Please do.
Hey, you said something right there, Spanky. That's some real shit. I do like the Hawks here. I'll be honest with you. Like I say, the playoff revenge always in the back of my mind. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers turn up here. But when I saw that Harris is out, I put a little something on the Hawks here. I'll be honest. It wasn't a full unit, but I did put some on the Hawks, minus 2. I knew it was going to move up to at least 2.5. I know they don't have Bogdanovich, Hunter, or Reddish here, but the Sixers missing Tobias Harris. They can't be affording to miss any of their guys as well. So I know they'll be turned up for this game, but Embiid doesn't look look right now, and Capella can bang with him, make him expand even more energy here. So definitely be looking at the Hawks in this one, Sharp. Let's go to this next game. We got the Nets here, Sharp. We're going to the streets of Brooklyn. Carlton Towns still game time decision, guys. I wouldn't work, even though I know my guy Shark here on the Timberwolves already. I heavy lean for Timberwolves. I wouldn't talk anyone of waiting. He could be in or out. True, and you know how they be playing sometimes, man. But at least they have him on the injury report, right? So at least we know that there's a possibility. But Wolves are nothing here, Shark. Let them know what you looking at.
Yeah, I mean, even if he sits out, I'm not particularly worried. I think this is just a brutal spot for Brooklyn. It's a sandwich game, front end, back to back. They play Chicago tomorrow night in a conference battle revenge game. They got hammered against Chicago.
They got their ass smacked versus the that was in Chicago. Now they come back to the house in Brooklyn here, Shark. You back? You cool?
Yeah, apologies for the internet. I shouldn't be apologizing. We should be calling this provider, which I pay a reasonable amount per month for. So, and we are actually hardwired into the wall with an Ethernet here. So I don't know what's going on. StreamYard, a little sketchy, but anyway, continuing. But you look at what's going on with Brooklyn. Brooklyn is in a real heavy sandwich spot. Beat the Knicks the other night, did not cover, and they play Chicago in a revenge game tomorrow night, a bigger game than this for them, 100%. And Minnesota has traveled well against the Atlantic specifically. They have not traveled well against the Southeast. And we were looking at the schedule going back a week and a half ago. Super interesting dynamic where they got blown out by Charlotte within the Southeast. And then they went to Philly. I believe it was a matinee on a Sunday. And they beat Philly in overtime, 121-120. And you're kind of in a similar environment here. Of course, it is Friday night, not Sunday afternoon. But this is in the Atlantic, a contender, big names on the jersey to motivate against for Minnesota. And they're coming off a loss against the Wizards. So it's a nice spot. It's a double revenge game. The line is short. It was 10.5 at home Brooklyn last year. It was 7.5 on the road. And Brooklyn did cover the road game. But we talked about this before. It was a really funky environment. It was a weekday makeup game. There had been a shooting in Minnesota. There was a postponement. There was a boycott. There was a lot of protests. Obviously, it was a terrible point in society. But in terms of NBA basketball, they were playing in the middle of the afternoon in an empty stadium on a weekday. It doesn't get any worse than that for a home team to perform. And they lost by 20 points. They got just absolutely hammered from the get-go. So you get a double revenge game, short line, trap spot for Brooklyn, sandwich spot, and a nice buy spot for Minnesota, who's just perpetually angry in this season. This group is very focused to turn up and improve their quality in the public eye and in their own eye, really, as professionals.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Timberwolves are the better coach team as well. Not sold on Nash, guys. I'm sorry. They got some new guys over there, better defensively as well, and they just can't seem to get it together. I think a lot of this is falling on coaching. If they had a different coach over there, the Nets would actually probably really be balling out. They would have did a lot better as well last year, even though it was funky with all three of the guys together. I just feel like a different coach would do a lot more with what this team has, and they still don't really have a ton of bigs as well. They do get Claxton back tonight, but Paul Millsap and LaMarcus Aldridge is your center. Griffin doesn't even play anymore. He's out of rotation. He's like Kemba Walker now. He want to go do shows on. He Hollywood Griffin now. But Timberwolves are nothing for me here. Me personally, I'm waiting for Karl-Anthony Towns. I do need the big three. Every time I bet on Timberwolves, I need the big three for him out there: Karl-Anthony Towns, Edwards, and Russell. That's just me personally, though. But it's definitely Timberwolves or nothing. Me and my guy talk about these games at night. I already said, I say, hey, look, Timberwolves +8. Only way I'm looking at the game, big game versus the Bulls on deck tomorrow as well, my guys. So some injury news, and no one could go either way. Let's go to the streets of Houston here. It's a game we didn't talk about earlier. It's really not an inspiring game, to be honest with you. I see a lot of money on the Rockets here, actually some big money, to be honest with you. So there's a lot of people actually thinking the Rockets are going to get this one done. I'm even seeing the team leaders 19-4. Everyone loves the Rockets today, man. I'll be honest. If it's me, I mean, I may personally put some on this one. It's tough to go, even though the Magic are just another NBA team, but I do like the Magic here in this game. I think they'll win this game. They're coming off of, they were just lost 7 straight games. They get up versus the Nuggets, right? I'm looking in for some inside info. They had a halftime talk. Mobley, we talked about this, Shark, with them really connecting with the coach. He got into their ass at halftime. You guys aren't competing. You said you're not playing for each other. There was no pointing the finger, all this. And they came out the third quarter really playing defense, playing together for themselves, and they said that they want to keep it going to the next game, that bring that second half into to the next game, you look at it, it's a beatable opponent as well. They did one of their best players did just get hurt, Kevin Porter Jr. Wood got hurt as well, but he's still going to play in this game. I know that the Rockets on a 4-game win streak should have lost to OKC. OKC pitched them away and then got smacked up. I think the Magic will get this win as well, and obviously this is the one battle of who wants to take this game away. Maybe the Rockets been winning a few too many games for the GM's liking, but regardless, matchups wise, the team better coaching as well. I actually like the Magic in this game, not putting the gun to anyone's head, making them bet it here, Sharp.
Yeah, this is tough. It's funny. We talked about Indiana and Miami both being on losing streaks as potential playoff teams. The comedy of this is we find two absolute bottom feeders off of wins. Mm-hmm. It is rare that you will find a spot where the Rockets are coming in on a winning streak and Orlando's coming in off a win against a playoff team. So, again, that's where it's a little tough for me to cap because you got two bad teams that are both a little hot, which is just weird. And when you go into it, you look at what happened. The only time Orlando has traveled within the Southwest this year, it was the opener of the season at the Spurs. And we know the Spurs are not particularly good either this year. And they got hammered by 30. And I do think off of a win at home against Denver, that could replicate itself. And, this is nothing official. We're just chatting the game. But I do worry about buying Orlando off an outright win against the Nuggets traveling on the road. And I don't know if I cut out there, but I do.
No, you good.
Oh, okay. But I do think going back to that travel point, because they have not really traveled in the West at all this year. All their road games against the East, and they opened the season at the Spurs and got demolished. I don't know. In terms of the line is actually 1 point short for Houston. It was -1 Houston in Orlando going back to the last matchup, and they did clean them up by double digits. This should be 4.5. So at 3, it is short. It's suggesting Orlando would tighten it up. But again, with these teams, I'm not sure how much you can really attach to a Vegas number because it's kind of like college basketball where the odds makers do their best to throw you out a sharp number. But with young kids, there's more scatteredness. There's more inconsistencies. So
exactly.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Spurs are light years better than the Rockets and coached light years better as well, in my opinion. It was the first game of the season, but I definitely get the corollary point. I don't like the fact that they came back and won the game. I mean, it's two things, right? Because we had money on that game. We had the Nuggets first quarter in that one. Obviously, they pissed away the full game. But like I say, how I'm looking at it is them taking that motivation, figuring out how to play with each other, playing hard. Actually, like, you know what? We haven't been playing our hardest. Let's come out here and play a good ball game. That's what they did. Came back and beat a good Nuggets team that really wanted to win the game as well here. So, like I say, looking at leading the Magic here, you look at it, they're kind of a baby Cavs team. Look at how the Magic played. They got Mo Bamba, Wendell Carter Jr., and Franz Wagner, all guys 6'10" or taller playing together. It should be tough to get some baskets inside. Christian Wood hadn't been the same. Garrison Matthews has been balling out for the Rockets. You look at the bench, the Magic have the much better bench as well. So as long as they don't sit anyone, I think the Magic will come in here and get this win, my guys. I couldn't talk anyone out of not betting this game, to be honest with you, man. Let's go to the next game here. Another game we didn't talk about. We're going down the street here, man, to the AAC. You got the Mavs versus the Pelicans here. This is the revenge spot for the Pelicans. They have seemed to have been playing a little bit better on the road, and there's no Porzingis in this game. So I actually think that it's actually Pelicans or nothing for me. I'm looking at a lot of dogs and unfortunately a lot of road teams as well, but this is one where I'd be looking at the road dog, another one, Sharp.
Yeah. I mean, this is another tough one. There's counterpoints to either side. And of course, we go through every game before we put out official plays. We go through the details. One thing that we said before the Mavs blew them out in the last game with 139 points scored was just that the favorite seems to cover every single time in this series. And of course, this is not the Zion Williamson group, but it did pertain to last year's environment and this year's environment without Zion, which means one thing. Odds makers have a handle over these teams when they play each other despite the personnel. And this is something I always try to talk about, how it's integrated into the line. Because people always say, oh, yeah, the line, but the players. It's like, yes, you're right. But the odds makers know that too. And the idea here is just that when the line is showcasing favoritism, I'm not sure if it's going to reverse itself. I would enjoy taking the Pelicans if I had to. I'm naturally contrarian in betting. And the Pelicans have showed the ability to revenge teams on the road in recent history. Noteworthy win at the Clippers. Another one at home they've been turning up as well. The Pelicans are going to be a moneymaker for us when Zion comes back and they get in some flow with this new coach and that group. I just don't know if it's coming until he gets there and probably a week or two after. But Jay, I do think in the spring we are going to be betting the Pelicans frequently, and I think they're going to cluster a lot of covers, and it's going to be a money-making machine potentially.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I actually kind of like when teams come out in the first quarter of the season that are absolutely terrible, because then people just get in their head, oh, they absolutely suck. They're bet against them every game, and it's not necessarily the thing. Some teams can get hot. Some teams get hot. Some teams need some time to get to gel, get used to their coach, all of this. So we can't forget they have a new coach, some new players on the team. No Zion. They were down Ingram for a while as well. So, and Zion had a little setback as well. Unfortunately, I hate to see it because I really want to see what the Pelicans can be full squad here. Let's go over here to Mormon country, man. Let's go to the streets of Utah here. We got the Jazz line open up at 8.5. It's down to 8 now, my guys. Down to 8. It was 7.5 or 7. Now it's back up. Like I said, no Jaylen Brown here for the Celtics. He will be the only guy that's out. 3 days off for the Jazz. Could be a little fat and happy at the house. The Jazz are a jump shooting team. The way that I'm looking at this game, they have a guy. This is how you beat the Jazz. You need a defensive stopper to hold Donovan Mitchell. You need somebody down low to bang with Rudy Gobert. And it's not really hard to have the better bench up against the Utah Jazz, if you ask me. So I know that they've been off for 3 straight days. They're rested, but could be a little bit rusty here, Shark. Celtics the only way I'd be looking at this game. That's just me personally, though.
Yeah, of course. We love to chat every game, and we hope to do it in person soon. I think we're talking to Joseph Devine, one of our guys, Atlantic City Symposium, maybe next fall or something. And segueing to that, we love you guys in the chat. Come meet us in real life. We love to talk to people. Really, we do at the core. It's pretty much our passion, actually. Like, I think about human beings all the time. So we're going to do that. And I just want to give a shout out to my man, Tony Bass. If I blocked you on Twitter, and Gerald, whoever you guys are, it's nothing personal at all. We deal with 18,000 plus people every day in the DMs across all different platforms. And if anything seems a little off, we just have to be zero tolerance, because if we didn't, we would be in total chaos. We wouldn't be able to cap games. We wouldn't be able to do shows. So if I took out of context, that's my bad. Nothing personal at all. I love you guys. But staying course here, Utah is just a tough take. Boston's a tough take. I said it before on the noon broadcast. They're very, very unpredictable. Very unpredictable. And it's just a couple of teams. It's the Knicks, it's the Celtics, and Jay, we didn't say this before, but it's of course the Sacramento Kings as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Teams that will show up with championship effort out of nowhere. And then games that theoretically they should play well, they will play awful ball. And sometimes it's because of their 3-point shooting variant. A couple of these teams where they just straight up will shoot 7 for 40 from beyond the arc and just keep jacking up threes and lose a game by 25 points. And another point that's really interesting in NBA basketball right now is that you have to look at the 3-point gap versus the actual final score, because so many of these outcomes are determined purely behind the arc and their 3-point shooting. And but staying centered on this matchup, I know Jay wants to take the Celtics. The Celtics are just a tough buy for me in this position because the line is all over Utah. Utah 5.5 home last year, 3.5 road, 2 covers. And again, Utah is one of those teams that will show up and blow you out when they want to. And I do think theoretically this could be a spot they want to blow them out, and the line would confirm it.
Got you. Yeah, I don't know. It's not necessarily I want to take the Celtics, bro. It's that I looked into the game and I like the matchup for the Celtics. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. I like a lot of games tonight, but usually when I like a lot, I won't really play too many. Like, I could play every single game, or I could, like, I'm a different type of guy, man. I may make some live bets. That's why I come on here, just try to help some people look the right way, look at how I'm looking. I could look towards the Celtics in a live play. Like, I like them for the game, so they could get down in this one. I look for a spot to take them live. They do have a game tomorrow. It's a lot of different things I look at. I'm just letting you guys how I'm looking at it. I do think that the Celtics, even though they are very up and down, it is that they do have a game tomorrow as well in Portland. But in this game, it's, for me personally, I'm taking the points in this game. I don't trust the Jazz, even though they've been at the house. They're a jump shooting team. They've been off for 3 straight days. They could be a little rusty, and I think the Celtics can guard them really well on the 3-point line. That's how you beat the Jazz. You beat them with bench play as well. Anything can happen, but I think it's a winnable game actually for the Celtics. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see them win it straight up. Let's go to the streets of let's go to the golden streets of Oakland here / San Francisco, my guys. They are in San Francisco now. We got the Suns Suns versus the Warriors. Simply put, I think it's going to be at the very least a first half full game spot for the Warriors here. Smack up the Suns. Don't be a bit surprised. Well, I won't be surprised if I see the Suns rest some guys late here. Mikal Bridges playing 41 minutes in yesterday's game. There's absolutely no point for that. But we like the Warriors here. Double-digit win, Shark.
Yeah, and I think you're making a good point about the first half. I think the first quarter is actually the spot. If you look at actually their last two first quarter spots off road trips, of course, they did have that really elongated homestand. I think they played, like 9 straight home games. So they haven't really been on the road much. But their first home game off the first road trip was against Memphis. They lost the game to Memphis, but they came out in the first quarter and blew them out by like 17 points. And then the last road trip, they got the Raptors at home off in the first game off the trip and came out and throttled the Raptors by 12 in the first quarter. And I think it's, we talk about historically, the Warriors love the first quarter. They've always been a great home first quarter team. And I think they like to come home. And again, it's a cerebral, intelligent, professional championship group. They do things intentionally. It's not arbitrary like the Celtics or the Knicks. It is intentional action. Steph Curry and Draymond Green look at themselves before the game and they say, we're going to come out right now and bring championship defense and shoot the fucking ball out at a high efficiency rate. And we're going to bring that pace and that energy and just demolish this team. And I think you can see it tonight. I'm not going official on record, but I think I'm probably going to play Golden State first quarter. I think they're going to come out ready to go. I think, again, Phoenix 3rd and 4 back-to-back here as well. A tough spot. And Phoenix came out super juiced last night at home against Detroit. And we talked about this when we talked about the reason why we faded Oklahoma City in the back end of a home road back-to-back. Same environment. The Suns came out last night to crush and then reserve energy late. Tonight, theoretically, it would be get crushed because we're trying to hold on to energy so we don't get blown out late. Of course, that could backfire. But I do think the top looks in this game are first quarter, and officially we're on the game at -7.
Gotcha. And I like the first half too. I'll be honest with you. I think that the Warriors come out here turned up, get a lead, and never look back. That's how I look at this game. If they're not, and they don't get it twisted, guys. The Suns are on, I see a lot of people in the chat and really all day, because I really look at info. It's a lot of different things, and I'm really looking at all day. I might be at the park with my dogs or with my girl, but I'm checking shit. I see motherfuckers. Everybody's on the Warriors, right? No, everybody's not on the Warriors. There are plenty of people on the Suns for sure. They're on an 18-game winning streak and getting 7 points, guys. Just know and anything can happen, right? This line, everything that we're saying is built into this line, even the back-to-back. That's why it's so high at 7. But I think it's high for a reason. I think they win by double digits, and we know that even the Warriors, even if they're having a bad first half, those third quarters are so tough. They come out locked and loaded. That's where I do have to give Steve Kerr some credit, or him and his coaches. It may not even be him; it could be the assistant coaches, but they're figuring something out in with the halftime adjustments coming out there in third quarter and just turning up the defense, turning up the offense. Guys like Gary Payton II coming off the bench, you absolutely love it, man. I think this Warriors are going away in this one, and this is a statement type of game as well. If you really want to prove that you're back, you want to smack up the Suns who won the West last year. It's a revenge game, all this rest advantage, smack city spot for the Warriors tonight, my guys. One of the guys like, oh, Jay will never take the Warriors. Woo, let's fucking cash with the Dubs tonight, man.
Yeah, and Jay, just continuing on that again, like I said with Philly, we don't cap with bias. We really don't. I mean, we love you guys in the chat. I saw one guy said, I love the Kings. I do not love the Sacramento Kings. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the brand of basketball. I don't love the Kings, period. We just try to look at the board with the numbers and narratives and psychological environments. That's all we do. And we keep it really unbiased. So you might find us on a team a lot in a small window because usually that team will cluster. Like we had the Wolves. And we actually had some guys saying that the Wolves lost like one game for us. And this guy from Minnesota was in the chat saying, you guys are idiots. I'm a big fan. They suck. And then they covered 7 straight games for us. So we're not fans of any team. We are professional handicappers. We have zero bias. But so Jay doesn't have a bias when he doesn't bet the Warriors. It is what it is. But the final
I don't even have a bias against my Mavs.
Yeah, me either. At all. But one final point scrolling up in the chat. Somebody mentioned Steph Curry's shooting outlier in the last game. That is highly noteworthy.
Damn good point. And he threw that game. He fixed that game. Fuck that.
And, when you look at the final score, they lost by 8 points. And he shot 4 for 21. 4 for 21. And I believe 3 for 14 beyond the arc. So he left 33 points on the table from beyond the arc. And they lost by 8. That's a 25-point gap. That's ridiculous. And you're not assuming he's going to shoot 100%, of course, but the amount of points Steph left on the table, and then as a secondary point, the amount of lack of buckets for everybody else. Because when he shoots well, it opens up space for everybody else, and the offense scores even more. So they probably outliered themselves by about 35 points, scoring only 96 points last game. It was just purely a shooting outlier.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're not even the type of guys, we're taking no Devin Booker. We really didn't even mention that. We did 2 shows and barely even mentioned that Devin Booker, the hottest scorer for the Suns, won't even be out there. I know they still got CP3, Aiden, Shaman isn't a bad guy fitting in. He's no Devin Booker. Stop it. What are we doing here? There's Warriors in a Smack City spot. Let's fucking go. But I don't know why that shit was funny to me. That true comedy right there. He said, my guy said, I love the Kings. Like, bro, what are we doing here? Yeah, let's bet the Sacramento Kings every game. What the fuck are we doing? This last game up, man. Got people hitting me up, all type of shit, man. Sorry. So, when I tell you, like, people tell me, like, I'm wrong and shit, and anything can happen in this game. I can understand, but I really think that I know that the Clippers cleaned up the Lakers last year, all this, what I'm saying? You could argue that the Lakers were probably a better team more fluently last year because Westbrook's kind of throwing things off. But the Clippers here, I think they rested PG the last game looking ahead. They hadn't been in good source. They're on 5 ATS the last 5, lost the last 3. One of them was they kind of hung with Golden State before Golden State smacked them up. Then they had a letdown, and then the Pelicans were just playing hot. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily making excuses for their losses. They lost 3 straight. They deserve to lose that one without PG. I think they come to play here. Like, simple. I think they're coming like ready for this shit. They got Ibaka back. They got Eric Bledsoe. This is the reason why I feel like they brung Bledsoe for games like this. AD's going to play. LeBron probably still has COVID, but got a fake doctor or some bullshit. Regardless, why can't LeBron get to play? Everybody else is on LeBron on health and safety protocols. They don't get to take other multiple tests and all this other shit. They're out for at least 7 to 10 days regardless. Why can LeBron get literally out for 7 to 10 days? Oh no, this shit is actually, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. Fuck them, Clippers.
LeBron runs the league.
Yeah, he's scary, bro.
He runs the league. He's obviously one of the best players in NBA history. He's very intelligent. He's passionate. He's very much in bed financially with international corporations. The NBA's in bed with the same corporations. Again, we were talking about with NCAA and stuff. There's a lot of off-the-record, behind-closed-doors things that have nothing to do with basketball. That's why LeBron is so integrated into what the league is doing. And that's why, in the bubble, they had different restrictions. They almost came in and out. LeBron basically decided if they were going to finish the playoffs in the bubble. That's insane. He's basically a pseudo-commissioner. And so he's running his own game to a certain degree. In terms of the game tonight, it's a tough cap because, again, it's a triple revenge game. The Lakers they got outclassed all 3 games last year against the Clippers. Not even close. The first one was the opener of the campaign. It was a ring ceremony. We faded that correctly. We had the Clippers there. And then it came back twice. And I didn't bet either of those games because I didn't really have a handle on the Lakers or the Clippers against each other last year. But the Clippers blew them out twice as a home team. The line is basically the same thing as it was last year in the one home game for the Lakers in the opener. It was -2. So they're basically telling you, we don't really know what's going on as a number here. And I think you could cluster the outliers to the Clippers because, as you said, the Clippers have been awful coming into this particular game tonight. I don't know how many times they're going to tank a game by 25 points to a really bad team this year. But if there was going to be a bounce back spot for the Clippers, it would be tonight.
Yeah, and the only thing I'm saying, guys, and I'm glad you're letting me know this, bro. And I didn't go heavy on this game. You see what I'm saying? And these things do happen, right? I'm looking at the refs. The refs are kind of shaded towards the Lakers. It's just a lot of different things I look at when I'm looking at a basketball game, a lot of different intangibles, and I really like some checks off boxes. I'm looking at the refs. They have been a little towards the Lakers lately. I'm talking about even games in the Lakers, in the bubble versus Miami. Guys, I'm it's so – I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few more calls for the Lakers tonight. Even the fact that LeBron's coming back, right? They have started to play a little bit better. But just me, the way I'm thinking, guys, the Clippers been tanking some games. I really think they'll be coming out full fucking force in this game, literally full throttle, especially with them resting PG still lose to the Kings on a 3-game losing streak. I just really feel like they will ramp shit up in this game. They have a lot more continuity as well. People sleeping on Bledsoe. He's a damn good defender and go for 15 points. You know what I'm saying? Give you 15 points, a couple steals, and lock down somebody. LeBron's not that same guy. He's having to do it with shooting these days. He can't really beat anyone. I can't say anybody, but he's not just going to the basket doing it anymore. It's all fast break, shooting at three. Oh, let me look at the ball to get it perfectly gripped first and then shoot. Bullshit, man. The Lakers are still a good team, but I really do think the Clippers are coming and maybe even the more motivated team in this game. So small plays for me. I'm going Clippers first half full game. You guys don't have to ride with me. Anything can happen. If you like the Lakers, take them, guys. You do not have to ride with me, but personal play, Clippers first half full game for me.
Yeah, I think there's a massive confusion point publicly about the Lakers. I think people are thinking they're just coasting the regular season, before New Year's like they always do with LeBron. I think this year is different. I don't think this team has that type of deep playoff atmosphere going on at all. And I think to a certain degree, you think about what was said. People oftentimes look at celebrities and athletes as superhumans. They're very similar to guys like you and I. They have intelligent conversations about the environment they want to work in and where they are at certain points in their life. And I think that essentially when this roster was constructed, again, you listen to guys on mainstream TV, they would say, oh my God, what an all-star roster. They don't know what they're talking about, and they're also paid to sensationalize a lot of trash. This roster, I really think, was Carmelo has always wanted to play with LeBron. Always wanted to play with LeBron. And I think they got together and they said, you know what, let's go together. We're not going to win a title. We're going to enjoy our last couple of years playing together for the pure enjoyment of the game. LeBron James loves to play basketball, and I will never question that. He loves the game of basketball. Carmelo has been his boy since they were in high school. St. Vincent, St. Mary's, and of course Oak Hill, the institution in Virginia, in the mountains. But really, and then they bring in Russell, they bring in Dwight, and they had this group. And I mean, I said it before. I said AD's in purgatory. I do feel bad for AD because AD came over there to play with LeBron and win a title. But now AD deserves to be the A-list superstar on his own team.
On his own team.
Championship. So he's stuck now. He is stuck. And I really do think, again, it's just my take. I have not talked to these guys. I wish I did. But I do think that they got together in the offseason and they said, just being realistic, we're probably not going to win a title, but let's have a damn good time doing it with our boys who we never got to play with before.
That's a damn Shark. That's a damn good point, bro. This team is not fucking winning the championship, not this year. I can tell you this. So we can't forget the guys they have guys like Ariza and Nunn who could be difference makers for them that are really injured right now. But I know I said earlier this season, I'm looking at the way the roster constructed, and I thought they could be a lot better. I think they were getting a different form of Westbrook. They are starting to play a lot better, guys. I could tell you this. Like the Lakers could win tonight. They're playing a lot better. LeBron's in, AD's in. You know what I'm saying? They got in theory kind of some size advantage, but I think the Clippers are the much better defensive team. The Lakers offensively have not been the greatest right now. So it's just me. You guys do not have to ride with me at all. In all honesty, it's a personal play, but I do like it. This was the ESPN game. Then they flexed it to the Warriors and Suns game, my guy. So anything can happen. That's a damn good point, Shark. Some great points by you there. My guy said Shark Woj there.
Well, no, and Jay, we never get to talk futures or anything on here. Last year, I did go on Twitter and I called the finals. I said it would be Suns Bucks, and I said that 4 days before the playoffs started. And my man, Mitch says that the Lakers are going to be in the Western Conference Finals. Mitch, all respect, never a point of disrespect. I vehemently disagree. I don't think there's any shot they get to the West Finals. I think it's going to be probably Dubs, Utah, or Phoenix. And I think, comically, the irony of the generation that LeBron's in. Of course, Chris Paul's in that generation too, 1985, 84, those guys. Chris Paul's never gotten anywhere. But now Chris Paul is situated with a great core of guys that are younger than him. And I think it's the polar opposite environment, obviously. So, I mean, I think going to the West Finals, obviously a lot could change. Klay Thompson's coming back. I think it's probably going to be Phoenix versus Golden State. And I think the Lakers probably wash out in the first round, if I'm being super honest. Jay, what do you think about that?
I don't know about first round. Depends on where they're seated at. Depending on, because if they're seated bottom level and they're up against someone like the Suns, they're definitely getting put out. Like if they're facing anyone, the Suns, I don't know. The Jazz they kind of irk me this year, and the Lakers have the size to get it done. The Lakers going up against the Jazz, they have a puncher's chance to get away there. And even though I agree the Jazz could go deeper, it's all about when they peak. They definitely have to sure up their bench for the Jazz. They got to get 2 solid bench pieces for me to take the Jazz serious as far as playoff time. If they face the Lakers right now, especially if they get Ariza, because like I say, this is the beat the Jazz. Have some bigs, especially 2, to bang with Gobert and bigs off the bench and stop Donovan Mitchell. You can beat the Jazz. I'm telling you, especially with this bench right now. But I understand your takes, my guy. I don't see them getting deep into the playoffs unless they really turn it around. Like I say, they would need to get Nunn in there playing well, or Ariza playing some really good defense. But like Ariza is an older player. It's going to take him a while to come back. I just don't know if this Westbrook is the starting point guard for this Lakers team. But I've been reading up. Westbrook is turned up to go against Paul George tonight, guys. So I could see there are scenarios where the Lakers get it done. It's just this is what I've been waiting on. I like the Clippers today. I know that Westbrook will want to go up against Paul George. This is a big game. It is, guys. Best of luck with whatever you're betting.
Yeah, and continuing on that, I think we want to take a couple questions. So, guys in the chat, let's wrap this up.
Any questions? Yeah, because we are finna get out of here, so I definitely got to wrap it up. And we got like 5 minutes. Whatever questions you got right now, let us know. We'd be happy to break us out with our knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Let me. I'll open up the questions. Let me ask you a question. Jumping off that Utah point, you made the point earlier that and you just said that you thought the Lakers might catch them, unable to defend, or excuse me, they could defend Gobert very well. But how much do you think the fact that you just said 40 minutes ago, the Jazz are noticeably tanking the regular season will affect their playoff quality going into May? Where we saw last year, they overexerted themselves in the regular season and then didn't have the legs. Of course, Donovan Mitchell got hurt, whatever. But how much do you think that's going to affect? They're a little bit of a tank zone now to a certain degree. Think they're going to turn up in the playoffs?
Hey, first question from my guy Shark here. I do think I think it goes to what I just said. They need to get at least at the very, how with teams that's really trying to make a trade, right? So to be some teams like the Kings, someone that's not doing too well, they're trying to ship some guys off. From DJ Augustine from the Rockets. He's likely, just a little inside info for you guys. DJ Augustine is likely going to the Heat. They need a good backup point guard, or because they have some other guards, but you may see a trade with the Heat trying to sure up that backup point guard role. So there's teams like that. They're really making it. It's not quite on the tier of baseball teams just totally selling out, but you're going to see some bottom tier teams trade some guys, maybe like Buddy Hield. So the Jazz they need to sure up their bench, at least one actual guy that can be a score threat other than, because Ingles is not really a threat anymore, especially just shooting threes. And Clarkson hasn't had that good of a year. So I think they're going to need a backup point guard as well. The Jazz, there's a couple of pieces that they're going to need. And it's all about matchups as well when it comes to the playoffs. And who is obviously injured, who's more healthy at the time as well. So although I do think that the Jazz are kind of looking towards the playoffs as far as coasting towards the season, I do think they need to make some key moves if they want to go towards the Western Conference Finals, my guy.
Yeah, obviously, great answer. So let's go to the chat. I think here's a good question. James Smith, what do you guys think about reverse line moves, and where do you get your numbers on the betting public? Am I in there?
Yeah, you here.
Okay, it just cut off for a second. James, great question. But truthfully, I think at the core, we made this comment before, we don't look at the market actually, because I think at the top level of handicapping, you go into your own analytics. You don't want to know what anybody else is thinking. You want to look at your own numbers, which I always say are the odds makers numbers, because they're the professionals. They're the ones that have the best algorithms, the best tabulations, and the averages. When you start looking at their averages and the way they move them, they can teach you a real true story. And secondarily, as a capping point, we really try to be in the locker room with the team, which is why we always talk about a couple games before or a game 2 weeks ago that was the same environment, traveling in and out of a window. We try to tabulate the numbers from the pro odds makers and try to get psychologically in the room with the group to figure out exactly what energy they have on a given day.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I forgot the question right now, man. I'm just this guy in the chat. He just wants the official plays. We finna give them to you, man. We just trying to get to. So I've answered the first question. My guy Shark answered that one. A couple more questions, guys. We'll get out here. There are some games starting in about 5 minutes. A lot of people in the chat like in Oregon and college football. Let's see it being a locker room team. Love that quote. Any look on Purdue and Iowa? Come on, let's try to. Any other NBA? Let's see. MB double minus 165 official plays. A little juice there should hit, my guy. Let's see. Cap cycles more so than the games you pick off the board. I can dig it, my guys. Let's see. I'm going so heavy on Lakers. Fading this. Okay, got you. You said watch Lakers win tonight. Hope you cash, my guy. Let's see. Don't sleep on Denver once they get fully healthy. And Murray and Porter. Yeah, Porter may be out the rest of the year. He had lumbar spine surgery.
Yeah.
It's going to take him a little while to come back from that, my guy.
Just a small comment on the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets, you got to almost wait till next year. I hate to say it because you don't want to waste a year of Jokic's prime. But MPJ is done for the year, I believe. And Murray, I think, again, it's one of those where he could come back in like April or like the very back end of the regular season. But then you ask yourself, are they going to be there at that competitive point as a team where they're even going to bring him back just to potentially wash out? I mean, they might not even be like, they might be fringe like 7, 8. I don't know if they bring him back. I mean, I'm not in their camp. I'm not, obviously in the locker room, the GM, the front office, but I do think to a certain degree, especially with injuries like that, if they know they're only going to play 4 more games, get swept in the first round, they keep them on the rack all summer, rehab it, and come back absolutely fresh next year. I don't know, but just could be that way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. That's a damn good point as well, because Murray, he's a long ways away as well. He has to come back and get his feet wet. He won't just be Murray as soon as he comes back. The same thing with Klay Thompson. So I hope these guys are. Let's go ahead and get to the officials here, Shark. They in the chat. This is NBA Countdown, better than that shit on ESPN, man. I can say that humbly because we giving out free plays here. You dig what I'm saying? No bullshit. We're not giving out plays trying to lose on purpose. The last one thing I gotta say real quick. That's the shit that you could probably piss me off the most with. That we're gonna come on here, give out all these angles and shit to lose on purpose, or that we're getting paid to give out losers. That shit absolutely pissed me off. Anytime if I ever fucking hear that again, you guys are definitely don't ever, because we go through way too much research, working hard to give out free plays. Only thing we ask free is a like, subscribe, and retweets, all that shit. But definitely, come on, man, get the fuck out of here. But Shark, break them off the officials.
Yeah. I mean, can we take one more question?
Yeah, no, and we can even take some more questions. I just wanted to go with the official players real quick for people because some games are finished start.
Okay, yeah, and again, just one point. Please follow me and Jay both. Those are our Twitter handles. I post the plays at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so you guys don't have to watch 55 minutes to get to the plays. We talk about this all the time, but we try to bring you the best product because we know you guys want to hear the chat, but you also want to get your plays in. So follow me on Twitter, the plays that we posted, and of course, the abundance is within the show. But we'll drop the top 4 plays. It's Minnesota +8, Atlanta -1, Dubs -7, and Cleveland +4. So those are the top 4 for me. Jay, what do you have? Anything official, or are we just hanging out here?
Yeah, I'll go official. I don't mind. Like it's always, I don't say these are personal plays. I'm going Clippers first half +1, or it's up to +1.5. I don't know why my shit's tripping right now. Let's see. We're gonna go Clippers first half +1. I took it earlier. You get an even better number now. Clippers first half, yeah, it's still +1, +1.5 some places. The full game is at +3 now. I think the Clippers are winning this game. You can take the money line, or I can't even say you could take the money line. I took the Clippers +2 in this one. It's up to 3 now. So if you want to ride with me, you can take the +3. Like I say, these are personal plays I'm sharing with you, but I'm still trying to cash here. Now I'm taking the Magic as well, man. I'm taking the Magic +3. My locals give me +3.5, but I think the Magic will win this game again. Personal play. I say one more, and the official play, Warriors -7. I'm going first half as well, -4. Official like a referee blowing a whistle. All of them are official, but like I say, I'll be honest with you. I don't want to tell anyone to take the Magic today. I know that it's a sketchy type of game, so those are personal plays I'm sharing with you. Magic +3.5. Clippers first half +1. Full game +2. Official like a referee blowing the whistle. We've got the Warriors first half -4, full game -7. Couldn't talk anyone out of first quarter as well. Trifecta Smack City spot for the Warriors. I lean the Heat. So my guy in the chat asking, I didn't take them, but lean the Heat plus 5.5, lean the Cavs plus the 3, lean the Hawks -2. Another personal play. I did put some on Hawks -2. Lean Timberwolves as well. The Magic plus the 3, lean Pelicans, lean Celtics as well. There. Then my guys that know to watch the shows, leans are saying that I didn't officially bet the game, but I do like for it to win, my guys. Simply put. Shark, any other questions in the chat before we get out of
it? And jumping off that, what leans do mean are not official plays where we're not necessarily throwing 1 or 2 units personally on the bet. But if you guys want an angle, because oftentimes it's not specific to each person in the comment section, there are numerous people that don't go into the comment section that may want to bet a game, and just basically our advisory point is that. So it's not on the official record, it's not in our bank account, but it's guys that are not in the chat. Again, we love the chat, and we encourage people that are watching this right now, comment in the chat more, because I know there's a lot of silent viewers. The majority of people are silent viewers. No, and that's a powerful thing. That's a powerful thing.
People watching the show selling some picks, man. They don't want to say nothing, man. It's cool. You can say something in the chat, man.
Yeah, and then that's a powerful thing though, because I know people live their life. Not everybody's out there to shoot the shit in the chat and bring their big energy in the chat. Chat has big energy. We see you guys. This is basically like a big debate, and it's amazing stuff. But drop your picks in the chat if you're in the silent majority. We know you're out there 100%. And we respect the hell out of you guys. You guys are the abundance quotient who doesn't say anything, but you're the 80%, 90%. It's big time shit. It's real talk. And I know that there's 90% of people we never see that make this product and this show so big time. And I appreciate the hell out of you guys who are hearing this right now in your house. Cheers to you. Real, like for real, please.
Exactly, man. Let's cash, man. Let's get this cash today. It look like that's all the questions today. We went the full hour, man. For the people that's still here and stuck the whole hour, we appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Hey, we gave out the official plays. This is NBA Countdown. This is I really think like this is better than TV if you ask me, man. So all the positivity, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, I'll go through the picks again, man. The leans. I lean the Heat. That's the only way I could look in that game. The Cavs as well. The way they've been balling. I think this is a road dog type of day. Other than the Suns, I think this is a road dog type of day, to be honest with you. Other than Suns and 76ers, I like every single road dog. I understand the people that's like the Red Lakers. There's been a lot of people tell me absolutely I'm dead wrong. Don't take it. I'll be honest. The last few times this happened, I've cashed. Nothing's guaranteed. Lakers can get it done. LeBron, he probably paid the refs tonight, guys. So no, I wouldn't be a bit surprised. The Lakers guys, hey, get your cash. But I am going with the more motivated team. I could be betting against a fixed spot. It happens, but Clippers first half full game personal play, Magic as well plus the 3 personal play. Official plays for me, Warriors -4 first half, Warriors full game -7, lean Celtics plus the points, lean the Pelicans, Timberwolves, Hawks personal play as well -2, and lean Cavs and Heat, my guys. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shark, you don't have to tell them real quick. Shark the official Cavs plus the 3. Hawks -2, 2.5.
I'm at 1.
Yeah, and, do for the show, Shark. We got to go official with the lines that we see.
Oh, please, absolutely. No, I'm always saying I do book at 8 or 9 in the morning when I get it myself. So just putting that as a point. But we don't cap CLV at all. I mean, CLV capping can be very flawed from the standpoint you're not really looking at the game environment. You're purely just trying to get a cheap line, which doesn't really apply to what the teams are doing on a given day on the calendar. But sometimes, obviously you can beat the line by a hook or what, and it does make a difference between a win and a loss, particularly in professional basketball and some college basketball, mostly in major conferences where it is sharper than not. But one point I do want to make, I'm probably playing a personal play, but I would advise you guys, a really nice look is Warriors first quarter as well.
I like it, but they still in the chat, bro. Clippers not winning, but damn, apparently the Lakers the lock of the century, guys. So apparently the Lakers are lock of the century. I'm a big dude on hope you guys cash, man. So let's get to it, man. But let's get some cash, man. We out. I'll be back tomorrow at some point. I'm not sure it'll be the 11 show. I do have my son has a couple, like 3 soccer games, but at some point we'll be going live trying to cash some plays, my guys. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, retweet, all that good stuff. We out, man. We appreciate you guys for coming, interacting with us as well. Let's cash together. It's us against